What's up, capitalists? Elon Musk is making the world safe for online business, and he's not alone. I'm Nathan Hausman, your guide to the 21st century, and we've got a lot to go through. In this program, we're gonna recap the drama surrounding Mr. Musk and Twitter, and also big tech at large. We're gonna look at how things are gonna be improving a lot for regular people, whether you're in business for yourself or if you want to reach an audience and speak freely on the new public square. And we're also going to look at how Elon Musk has some powerful allies helping him in this fight to clean up the internet. So if you find this content valuable, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it. Whether you're watching this on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, or you're listening to the podcast, do any one of those things, and I'll also tell you how to support the program and yourself in a little bit later. But let's get started. On June 6th, Monday, Elon Musk accused Twitter of breaching contract over spam bots. So, on Monday, he accused Twitter of breaching its contract with him by failing to provide information about spam accounts, and once again threatening to back out of his $44 billion takeover deal. Attorneys for the world's richest man, wrote that Twitter has refused to provide information that would facilitate his evaluation of spam and fake accounts on the company's platform. And his lawyers argue that Twitter's alleged stonewalling amounts to a clear material breach of Twitter's obligations under the merger agreement. So we probably all heard this. Elon Musk wants to take over Twitter. A lot of people suspect he's got something even bigger planned. Like he wants to pull the mask off of big tech and all the dirty dealings that have been going on, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google, Amazon. And a lot of us suspect that there's some dirty dealings and insider trade, some insider work and favoritism going on. So, as of today, and I'm recording this very late in the evening on June 8th, Wednesday, Twitter is going to comply with his demands for data on fake accounts. So this is from the Hollywood Reporter. Twitter plans to comply with Elon Musk's demand for internal data on spam bots and fake accounts after threatening to walk away from the deal, the Washington Post reported on Wednesday. Citing a person familiar with the state of negotiations, the report says the company will offer access to the so-called firehouse or fire hose of data, comprising a real-time record of more than 500 million tweets posted daily and information about the accounts and devices from which the posts are sent. So, they finally relented, or have they? In this next article, we see that the Attorney General of Texas has opened an investigation into Twitter bots. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton opened an investigation into whether Twitter is falsely reporting the number of bot accounts on the platform. The inquiry will review whether Twitter violated the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act by misreporting the number of bot accounts, those that are automated and non-human, versus real users, he announced after Tesla's CEO Elon Musk going to pull out of this deal. The Attorney General says, Texans rely on Twitter's public statements that nearly all its users are real people. It matters not only for regular Twitter users, but also Texas businesses and advertisers who use Twitter for their livelihoods, Paxton said in a press release on Monday. If Twitter is misrepresenting how many accounts are fake to drive up the revenue, I have a duty to protect Texans. And in that paragraph explains perfectly why Twitter bots are such a big deal. If there are fake accounts, they're saying that Joe Biden's, half of his Twitter followers are fake. That can really distort public opinion. It's fraud against anyone who pays for advertising on Twitter or any other social media platform. It can throttle the marketing of businesses, whether they're small, medium, large. So we're gonna see a little bit later that there are probably maybe 24 very big organizations who have access to all of the fire hose data, and you gotta wonder, why are they so special? Did they pay for that privilege? This is from Zero Hedge. Twitter spikes on reports firm will comply with Musk's bot data demands. So Twitter stock has jumped up on the news that they're complying. They're offering access to the full fire hose. This report mentions that currently some 24 companies pay for access to the fire hose information, which comprises not only real-time records of tweets, but the devices they tweet from, as well as information about the accounts that tweet. So if these companies have access to the fire hose, why wouldn't Elon, if he's going to be the boss? And it makes you wonder how special do you have to be to have access to to the full data, to have that privilege. What we're learning, and really ever since Joe Biden started squatting in the White House, we've really had a feast of red pills. So many mysteries and scandals have been revealed to the wider public, whether it was, the GameStop stock drama, the Wall Street bets exposing the world of Wall Street and hedge funds, whether it was Big Pharma being forced to release, information about the COVID jab, the COVID drug, whether it was, I'm trying to think what else, but think about how much we've learned and think about how much we're learning. This is actually a very good time. We're only living in the illusion of a free market economy. The way things ought to be is you ought to make a successful living doing honest work and hard work. But a lot of people's success comes from favoritism. Like they're able to sweet talk the right people in government, or sweet talk the right people high up in the organization, in the corporation, or they're able to heaven forbid, even bribe or blackmail powerful people. But the news isn't all, but it's not entirely bad situation. So things are, Elon Musk has found himself in a position where he can do a lot of good based on where he's gotten in life. He's kind of like Esther in the Bible. Certain people do find themselves in powerful positions, and they have a chance to do a tremendous amount of good. So he's making it possible for regular people and small businesses to succeed and get an honest, assessment of big data analytics. So with that in mind, let me tell you about the way you can support the channel and support yourself. If you're in business for yourself, it's really important that you have your own website. Don't just rely on Twitter or YouTube to do business for you. You need to have your own website, and they can do a lot of business functions for you. You can sell your own products. If you have a service business, you can use your website to let clients book appointments. You can also create information products like ebooks and online courses and sell them on your own website. So click on the link in the description to my website, to the store, where you can buy some merch, and also click on the link that says work with me. And I offer a range of web design and digital marketing services through my white label partner. A quality business website can cost thousands of dollars, but with one of these plans, you can break it up into monthly payments. So for example, if you want a 10-page website, you can break that up into like $199 payments monthly, or pay a little over $2,000 up front once. But and I also offer marketing services and SEO, so you get found on the search engines. So do yourself a favor and avail yourself of these services, and I'll get a referral commission. So Elon's not just taking on Twitter. Like I said, he's gonna pull the mask off the whole Silicon Valley, charade. This is from thestreet.com. Elon Musk fears no one, and he wants to show it. Take Apple, the world's most valuable company with a market value of $2.406 trillion. The chief executive officer of Tesla believes the manufacturer of the iPhone has not invented anything for a while. Or Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, which will fully become Meta platforms on June 9th. Musk thinks the social media giant is too powerful. He even goes further when it comes to talking about Zuckerberg, with whom he has a stormy relationship. In April, he called out the CEO of Facebook, calling him Zucker the 14th, an apparent nod to Louis the 14th, the French king famous for his hubris or excess. As for Jeff Bezos, the founder of online retail giant Amazon, Musk had this to say recently in a tweet. If he gets to orbit, less partying and more work would be advisable. Bezos runs Blue Origin, a space tourism company that offers suborbital flights. Musk's SpaceX routinely launches satellites into orbit on its reusable rockets. Musk has questioned the credibility of Bill Gates, co-founder of the software giant Microsoft, because the latter deigned to short Tesla sales. Until now, Musk had avoided criticizing another of the top 10 most valued companies in the world, Google, aka Alphabet. But now, he's just attacked the flagship of the internet giant and one of its cash cows, YouTube. He says in a tweet, YouTube seems to be non-stop scam ads. His tweet drew many comments of support from billionaires and Bitcoin evangelists like Michael Saylor and Tyler Winklevoss. Winklevoss of the Winklevoss twins, who famously got booted out of Facebook. Quote, we report Bitcoin scam videos on YouTube 24/7, 365, but the scammers just repost instantly, Saylor commented. 10,000 plus fake videos over the past year. Since it's expensive to report scams and easy to launch new ones, the attacks continue. YouTube needs a security deposit system to punish scammers. Another quote, are you an insert state homeowner? Here's how you can get solar for free, blah, 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 commented another Twitter user, referring to one of the scam ads. Son, stop what you're doing right now if you want to become a millionaire like me in 5 easy steps. This is from Owen Sparks. Musk replied to that one by saying that scammers were using Tesla, and in particular its solar panel business, to defraud people. Yeah, exactly, the tech tycoon agreed. Also, other companies are using the Tesla name for solar and Powerwall. We'll put a stop to that. So, Winklevoss and another Bitcoin evangelist, Anthony Pompliano, then jokingly recommended that Musk buy Google after he completes his Twitter acquisition. You should buy it and install some real management that supports free speech and knows how to lead engineering teams to identify and stop scams, Winklevoss said. Musk didn't respond, but instead tweeted at with a laughing emoji when a user commented with this meme. You can see it's Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants. YouTube, when someone swears. Patrick is furious. Compared with YouTube, when there are obvious scam ads all over their site. And Patrick's just snoozing. And Elon chuckled at that. YouTube didn't respond immediately to a request from the street. So yeah. There's scam ads on YouTube. There are probably a lot of bots too. And that leads to the another discussion from Epoch Times by way of Zero Hedge. Over the last several weeks, the perception has grown that Elon Musk will not be the emancipator of Twitter, freeing it finally from its mysterious algorithms that throttle, block, and ban perfectly wonderful accounts solely based on the political vendetta of employees and management. It's said that he has cold feet, as if Elon's demand for better data is purely a cover for emotional doubt. That's simply not true. What he has intuited, that Twitter underreports the sheer fake accounts and bot armies that use its platform, could in fact become another scandal for our age. Twitter says it's only 5%. Elon has crowdsourced the question and suspects it's closer to 20%. The truth is out there, but Twitter's not forthcoming. Why might this be? Here's where we get to the core of the issue. The reach data provided by these companies, perhaps not only to Twitter, but to hundreds of thousands of sites, form the basis of its pricing structure for advertisers and therefore drive the fundamentals of the business model. The business model is that these companies sell your content, which you provide because you want your views known, to advertisers so that they can sell to you. Advertisers are charged for access to your behavior based on the overall estimate of how many users are on the platform and how broad is the reach. Accuracy is of huge importance here. So this article is very good at explaining the problem. But accuracy is not exactly defined the way these companies have long operated. The data are subject to manipulation in the extreme. For example, Twitter has proven to be absolutely awful at policing the number of fake accounts that pretend to be some famous person with large followers. One might suspect that getting rid of such accounts should be part of Twitter's main focus. And the author has dealt with it for years and spent far too much time getting rid of them. Who has such time? It's ridiculous. But have a look at this problem, which has been going on for many weeks now. Brownstone's Martin Kulldorff has a famous Twitter account, but I can easily search his name, which turns up many fake accounts. Notice the slightly different spellings, and there's like 7 or 8 different fake accounts here. There's Martin Kulldorff. There's with 2 L's and 2 F's. Martin Kulldorff, and the at name is spelled differently. There's no O in Kulldorff. There's Martin Kulldorff dash with the hashtag at underscore Ashish. Martin Kulldorff dash with Sheikh Mahi 15 as the at call sign, and a lot of others. So, if this is any indication of the underlying realities, Twitter has a very big problem. Instead of focusing its energies on censoring good accounts, it might have applied its energies to solving a problem that affects all users. And yet, there is more at stake. Consider that Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has initiated an investigation into Twitter, which I just mentioned. If the company has falsely reported its real user base, that stands in violation of the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act. Paxton has given the company until June 27th to produce evidence for how it calculates the numbers and has routinely touted to advertisers. We'll see. It'll probably end up in court. Twitter's reluctance to comply with Elon's demand and seeming lack of transparency here is hardly unusual in this industry. It affects the whole of the digital world. The data is easily manipulated. Users are not necessarily users. People have learned the game system to manufacture influence. Companies count as a user. People have created accounts and forgotten about them, not having logged in for years. And Clownfish TV, they always say that Twitter is ground zero for cancel culture. A bunch of far left, false liberals will create a racket on Twitter, amplify the message with fake accounts, and get people falsely fired from the jobs or blacklisted, or they'll shut companies down in obvious political hack jobs. That's probably to blame, and Twitter and all its fake users are also probably to blame for woke advertising, woke entertainment, a lot of woke corporations. The managers, the executives of these companies, whether it's Hollywood or Disney or advertisers, they see the inflated influence of woke propagandists, and they think, oh, that's what the mainstream of the country really thinks. And it's obviously not. Not many people use Twitter except, journalists and big wigs at major companies. Most regular people just kind of ignore it. I haven't used Twitter I haven't been on my Twitter account for 7 years, up until the news that Elon was taking over. Then I've gotten more active in the last couple months, and it's been party central for a lot of conservatives and Trump supporters. So we'll have to see. But one of the things we're going to find out, one of the things that some people suspect, is that Twitter has a lot of influence from the government. I mentioned this on previous videos. There's a lawsuit. I'm not sure if it's still ongoing, but the inventor of email, Dr. Shiva, he ran for office in 2020 in the state of Massachusetts, and I think he was booted out of the Republican primary. Well, he found out that the politicians and members of the government in Massachusetts had a hotline to the Twitter offices, the Twitter headquarters, so to speak. They were able to control what was seen in people's news feeds. So there's a very strong suspicion, with a little bit of proof here and there, that a lot of these big tech companies are extensions of the government. They're proxies for the government. And that just goes back to the point that we only have the illusion of a free market. That the government, and probably above them, the central banks, the Federal Reserve, they're picking the winners and losers. So, but it's not all bad. We got individuals like Elon Musk, who, I'm not sure if this is still true, but he has been the biggest, most lucrative contract for the Department of Defense. He's gotten a lot of contracts to build SpaceX and Tesla. He's got a lot of government money. He was able to avail himself of people in government at the time. There are rumors that Donald Trump, before he was president and when he was building up his real estate developer business, there are rumors that he might have been an FBI informant. Like, he might have used his hotels as a honeypot to gather information from organized crime. That's just a rumor. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it might explain how he was able to build up his empire. And there's also the rumor that Trump was asked to run for president by members of the military. Like, they saw a lot of the corruption going on with Obama and with and Hillary Clinton and even George W. And they thought we need a non-politician, a big mover and shaker to clean the swamp. And that brings us to the last article we're going to look at here. This is from Substack, the blog titled Devolution, written by the author going by the name Patel Patriot. Now, this is big time, conspiracy theory territory, and the theme of this blog is that Donald Trump knew that the 2020 election would be stolen, and he prepared by setting up a contingency government with the military. I'm not sure I believe all of it, but Patel Patriot has offered some compelling, references. In this article, he discusses the documentary 2,000 Mules and Catherine Engelbrecht and Greg Phillips, and he quotes Richard the Saint's latest article, and something's pointed out here. Greg Phillips and Catherine Engelbrecht made a couple comments in passing that really blew the author's mind. In response to the question of how are you able to process all this data, they were able to process the GPS data from smartphones of all the mules who were like stuffing ballot boxes with fake ballots. They were able to gather that information from smartphone data and process it. How are they able to process that data? They said, we were able to borrow a supercomputer in Starkville, Mississippi. First of all, one doesn't just borrow a supercomputer like that, like it's a spare laptop. There are security clearances a mile long required to even gain access. Secondly, under no circumstances would you actually tell people where that supercomputer is located. That was either a major slip-up or a targeted communication. So, Starkville, Mississippi, that would be at Mississippi State University. One of Mississippi State's technologically advanced supercomputers have been helping researchers identify solutions to real-world challenges for decades. So, let's see here. They were doing this analysis utilizing a supercomputer funded by the NOAA, which is the can't see what that stands for. But, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which is part of the U.S. Department of Commerce. They're using government hardware? Wait another second. Exactly when did they gain access to this computer? The author says, I would really be curious to know that answer, because nobody on this planet is going to convince me they gained access to this type of video surveillance and geofencing analysis of the 2020 election during a Biden administration. Whatever they were doing on this computer started during the Trump administration, which of course begs the question: what was happening on this Department of Commerce supercomputer, which went live in June of 2029? So either Donald Trump knew ahead of time the election was going to be stolen, or maybe someone in the Department of Commerce is going behind Joe Biden's back and offering these services. So we don't know for sure. We kind of want it to be a little vague because there might be some people who don't want to get their covers blown. But it does show us that there are people who found themselves placed in positions of power, like Esther in the Bible, who want to use those positions for good, to restore freedom and capitalism and a free market economy and democracy to the world. You know, we've got a lot of corruption going on, and we're still exposing all of it, and we won't really be free until we expose and defeat this evil. So that's one reason. That's one reason why I create this content and promote business services like websites and investing in Bitcoin or gold and silver. I want ordinary people to endure and thrive in this crazy economy. And right now, these are the days when millionaires are made. If we can endure while gas prices are crazy, while inflation is crazy, we will be well prepared to go nuclear when the economy is restored. So, and it will be restored because, like I always say, the deep state, the powers that be, our would-be oppressors, the only reason they're going so ham on the oppression is because they're desperate. Freedom really is on the march, and it's going to prevail. So with that, I'll let you go. Like I said, if you want to support the program, share it, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe. And I'll see you later. It's okay to stand up for yourself. Have a good one.